Greetings, beloved family. Greetings, my beloved people. Greetings to all Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean, and by extension, all of our people who are listening across the diaspora. I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I bear witness that there is but one God. And we thank Almighty God, Allah, for another opportunity of life on this great Saturday morning. Saturday, October the 5th, 2024. It is once again indeed a pleasure and a privilege to have the opportunity to share some thoughts with you as we continue to reflect on the rapid pace of social change that's taking place in our society, and as we continue to explore possible solutions to the national problems that we encounter. But this is something that we have to do with each other more so than against one another. And it's becoming more and more evident that too many people in our society think that the solution to our problems is to go to war against someone else who is trying to find a solution that is different to yours. That is leading us straight into and down a pathway of self-destruction. So, beloved family, in a short while from now, I'm going to open up the telephone lines to take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391. You can send WhatsApp messages directly to me on 332-0214. All right, and of course, this has been quite a challenging, trying week in that, of course, for those of you who are not aware, our family would have buried our mother this week, and needless to say, a lot of family members coming in from overseas for the funeral of my beloved mother, Mrs. Merle Veronica Pegas Belgrave. And there were so many amazing tributes, so much love, so many reflections, so much memories. And my mother passed away on September the 20th, which would have been 2 Fridays ago. And of course, we say, may Allah be pleased with her, and may we not be deprived of her reward, and that we pray that we are saved from falling into deep trial after her, and that we know that Allah is the best knower. So this entire 2-week period has really been, as we say, a roller coaster ride. And of course, as I often refer to my mom as my greatest supporter, always giving the encouragement, the love, She taught me to speak properly while simultaneously teaching me to read and correct my reading and correct my speech when I was around 11 years old. Many people were surprised to hear that, but yeah, she was a great blessing. And tomorrow at the Kwame Ture Center, tomorrow morning, for our weekly Sunday morning lecture, starting at 11 o'clock sharp, I pay tribute to motherhood in general in our black community and the essential role that it plays in our liberation struggle. I intend to, among other things, go into a range of psychological scientific studies on human behavior that have pointed out, deeply researched, the impact of stability and structure and sanity and the ability to cope with stressful and frustrating situations as a result of receiving the early stage love and care of a mother. There are a number of psychological studies that have been done on children who have received the close love of a mother and children who have not enjoyed a close attachment relationship with their mothers, and the varying outcomes between the two groups. That a child that grows up without a mother's love, particularly in the early stages, is a child that is more prone to potentially encountering problems with aggression, uncontrolled anger, lower basic intelligence, less self-control and restraint, and even poorer performance in the school system. And there are many other psychological studies as well that scientifically point out that children who grow up with the close love and care of their mothers are more likely to enjoy a stable childhood devoid of many of the serious problems and issues that our youth may face at various stages in their early years. But tomorrow morning at my lecture, we intend to go through this in some detail in tribute to the black woman, in tribute to our mothers. So I invite all of you out to be there, not just in a way to pay the last tribute of this stage to my mom, but in particular to get that wisdom that we need to share. Because we live in a society in crisis. It was reported in the news this morning about a group. Now think about this. And it's linked to so many other issues. We saw in the news a report of what was described as several police officers involved in a kidnapping of a businessman for $500,000, and then after they collected the ransom money, they murdered him. And even though from time to time you hear stories like this circulating on social media, this one apparently was not only real and widely known about, But it was responded to by the police commissioner, who expressed her disgust with the fact that many of those who are entrusted with law enforcement over the wider society would themselves get so deeply involved in this kind of criminal behavior that it would lead to the point of murder, a combination of murder and kidnapping. And I want to highlight to us that this kind of action, of corruption, and violation of the trust of the masses of the people is only symbolic. Don't think for one moment that a group of police officers kidnapping a businessman, getting $500,000 in ransom, and then murdering him, don't think for a moment that an act like that is so isolated and unusual. We are starting to be exposed to patterns in our society where corruption, violence, abandonment, and rejection of the masses of the people who recycle politicians in offices, this is becoming the norm. There's a new normal, and the worse things get, the harder the hungry who are given crumbs to sell their soul come out and defend the evil of the system. It's like spiraling downwards. And beloved, there's no shortage of issues to highlight when it comes to the cruelty, the wickedness, the evil, the corruption in our society. There's no shortage of these kinds of issues, but there is one particular matter that I want to bring to our national attention at this moment. And that is, there is a group of young men who are now chicken farmers who began a chicken farm mass producing eggs by the thousands in South Trinidad, in Pinal. A group of young African brothers who have embraced Islam, who are associated with a powerful consciousness movement known as the Institute for Life in South Trinidad, of young people who give direction, give guidance, give teaching, help the youth, help the poor. A young community group that is involved in steel pan, in culture, in arts, in agriculture. Here you have a group of brothers who have taken a decision that they're going to pull themselves away from this negative lifestyle of self-destruction. They have rejected criminal behavior. They have rejected the idea of there's no money, there's no food, there's no jobs, we're going to rob and steal and commit crimes. They have turned their back on those kinds of options, and they've decided, look, we are going to go into business, do for self, become productive, hardworking, and progressive, and really begin to live out that model template citizenship that everybody in society wants to see young people doing. But as soon as they start to establish themselves in a successful business, all of a sudden, some armed, masked men with these big rifles or machine guns come to intimidate them and say, what are you all doing here? This land belongs to Heritage Petroleum. Close down this farm now and get out. And these armed, and I'll call them cowards, because if you're approaching someone allegedly on behalf of a legitimate state-run organization, with high-powered weapons, why are you hiding your face? Now, I want you to think carefully about this situation here. So these young black brothers who have decided that they're going to be hardworking and productive, open a business that is successful, thousands of eggs, hundreds of chickens, well laid out, and they've established themselves successfully in business, and some other coward in an office, in a suit and tie, hiding behind a desk, a computer, and a telephone, commissions these thugs, who, in all seriousness, are doing their job too, to put on these masks, pick up these big guns, and go and try to intimidate these brothers. But you see, the thing is, that's not how you try to oppose a Muslim. Because Muslims are taught that persecution is worse than slaughter, and it's better to die standing on your feet fighting for a cause of justice than to live on your knees as a slave or a beggar. Now look at this. These men have come in the name of Heritage Petroleum, which is a state company. Think about what I'm saying here. They come out, guns, big vehicles, face masked up, arrogant, ignorant attitude, try to intimidate the man, and they're thinking to themselves, this is how we do it, this is what usually works. When they realize that those intimidation tactics are not working on these brothers, they then do what they should have done in the first place, which was politely write them a letter explaining their position and requesting some kind of resolution. So now they write them saying, you have up to December 2024 to vacate the premises. Now again, people in Trinidad and Tobago, use your brains for this one. Recently, we did or had a conversation about there being a pattern in this country that big businesses are opening up, spreading and expanding, and small and medium-sized businesses are closing down. It is a game of big fish eat little fish, where instead of a whole lot of small and medium-sized businesses across the country, you have these big, major 1% conglomerates and brands that are taking over all. It is an extreme culture of highly placed economic greed that is being supported by our local politicians in the pursuit of those among the 1% who, in their minds, are controlling 95% of the economy, and they want to control 99% of the economy because 95% is not enough. And as I always say, the problem in this society is not that we cannot feed the hunger of the poor. The problem in our society is that we cannot satisfy the greed of the rich. And I want all of us as a national community to observe what is taking place down there in Pinal with these young African brothers who have turned their backs on the possibility of a life of crime. They've decided to go into business, and they have a successful business. And now agencies of the state are coming in to close them down. And you think of how many other examples we have like that. Young people, think of that. You remember a couple of years ago, that young brother who was selling popcorn in San Fernando? I think he had just come out of jail or just come out of YTC, trying to make a life for himself, doing pretty okay. Police say, no, you have to be arrested. Get off. Think of how the vendors in Port of Spain over the years have been arrested for trying to make an honest living for themselves. Look at the pattern of arresting them, taking their goods, seizing their items. Look, the other day in La Hoqueta, group of young people come together. They say, no, we're not going to turn to crime. We're not going to turn to robbing anyone. They build a structure and start selling goods there. And the state comes in, break it down, move them out. Why do you want so many people to be poor? Why are you encouraging this pattern of a cycle of poverty to make all of us so dependent that we have to keep running back to the 1% for everything that we need? And that pattern is making things so much worse. Why can't we open our eyes and see that? So my understanding is that many people have begun to pay attention to what's happening with those black brothers down there in Penal, and more people are coming to lend their support. More and more people are coming to give them encouragement. And I understand on Monday there's going to be another demonstration in support not only of these brothers who have opened this successful chicken farm, that Heritage all of a sudden is saying, no, that's our land. Do you know that's the same thing someone tried to do with us at the Kwame Ture Center? Oh, man. Those stories will come out in some years from now, beloved. But land that was barren there, doing nothing for more than 30 years. They see some young, black, hardworking, progressive people establishing a successful operation, and there's something in the minds of some of our sick-minded people that says, no, we must shut them down. We must close them off. But you see, when you're structured and networked with unity as an organization, you have your lawyer, you have your accountant, you have your educators, you have your national security officials, you have the right links with the right politicians, and you have your own security. So that we're not intimidated by those pathetic scare tactics that those masked men with machine guns at Heritage attempted to try on these brothers, and they failed. So now all of a sudden they're ready to talk. And beloved, you keep watch on that, because those brothers are setting a good example. I mean, it's bad enough in our society that so many of our people turn to crime. That's terrible. We all agree on that. It's terrible when people turn to crime. But you see, when people are driven to crime, and driven to crime by so-called responsible agencies of the state. But I want us to pay attention to these patterns. Look at how they dealt with Clico. Again, an African-owned business started off by one who was going against all odds. And the Dupre family becoming as successful as it is. And then a lust of one politician to destroy at its root this black economic legacy, to publicly shame it, to publicly embarrass it. And then read out a 5-hour budget speech the other day and continue to apparently tell very gross and serious untruths about how that unfolded. And it works so conveniently with the fact that so many of us have short memories. when it comes to this kind of thing. So, beloved, we have to stay conscious, stay awake, stay vigilant, and stay diligent. But, beloved family, let me open up the telephone line so I could have a conversation with you. We haven't had a conversation in a little while. 3420081 and 4665391. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been listening to you all the time, you know. I want to say something. Your mother has joined our ancestors.
Yeah.
And so many others. Our sister from Bahata has gone before.
Yes.
And so many. Yeah, and we all will go one day. You understand? So media and presently. Black woman, the African woman, is the mother of all race on this planet Earth. You have to understand that the black man and the black woman, first two people on this planet Earth. And we understand life, we understand living and dying and death. We don't mourn over the death. What we do is remember the person who has died, the contribution what they have done. I remember my mother as a single parent, the good teachings and what she has done. That stay with me. I don't mourn it. But look at my observation for the longest while, what you are speaking about here, with black youths or black people trying to get into business. And there's always a destruction wherever they are. You could go any part of the road and sell doubles, use any pavement, and nobody will tell you nothing. From the time an African person put up something, they move them. You see, we are not to become entrepreneurs. We must become consumers. Because we are the ones, they all, you see, I want to say something this word. In this country, you may not who don't like it as your business. The truth is the truth. I believe in the truth. You understand what you like? Some of the most negative thinking you get in this country is coming out of our black people ourselves. You know? Like there's a hate for us about us. You listen to them. You listen to the negative coming over the air. Every level that they attack one another. No other group do it. And they love that because, you know what, here they go again. You see all the time. You know? But Brother David, there is to keep us in this state, because we are the ones that have their business running, you know. They depend and wait on us when the weekend and the mountain come to bring that money for their business to keep growing. I tell you, let's look at something. The music they play in all those bars, in all those gambling places, who music they play? Chinese business, Indian business, Syrian, what music they play? That is to attract you in the stores, to attract you. So you bring your money and come fool, let me take it from you. You understand? We have to understand this, and until we don't come to the consciousness of understanding what is going on, who we are, what is going on, what they are doing, why they don't want us to rise. You understand? Unless we don't understand that we're in a mess, and we'll continue this negative attack on one another. It has hurt me, you know. I just switch, you know. When I hear the attack, because there's here we go again. You understand? And they feel happy about here they go, because you know what, they have their own agenda. It keeps us where we are. Brother David, it's not easy. The African people, I don't know. Sometimes it hurts me so much you wouldn't believe how it has hurt me, Brother David. I just didn't want to hear nothing about it again. But keep my consciousness, you understand, and my understanding what's happening. This thing come out of the, you see, this thing so deep. This thing come out of the plantation. That hate for us came out of the plantation. You understand? And it continue from the plantation up to now. You understand? And we don't understand what is going on unless you don't educate yourself, your mind. Listen, let me say something before I go. The oil drum come from outside, away.
Yep.
You send product in the oil drum. The oil drum is not ours. The music It's always, it's been the
Wait, hold on, another caller. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that put music on the oil drum. So I hear the president of saying that steel pan is not an African thing, not an Indian thing, that Trinidad thing.
Who
The
said
music,
that? Who said that?
The president of our Pan Trinbago, she made a statement. Pan, the music on the pan is African. No Indian, no Chinese, nobody put that. Is the African man speak. Simon and they and all who follow, they put the music on the pan. So the musical pan is African. The musical drum is African. So when you, as head, could make this kind of negative statement, no wonder you give away 13 acres of land. You understand? Up in Twin City there. Just about for a little piece down in Port of Spain because you don't understand the value.
Did you see how rapidly that land is being developed?
Yes.
Very rapidly.
Dingle get a land from India, man who's before the court, and you give up that 15 acres, Brother David.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's good.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. We have another caller holding. Caller, are you there?
I must be, my brother.
Yes, my brother. Thank you for that.
A long time in this Irish channel.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And now that the war is on with Israel and Iran,
oh man,
the affected and will be affections will flow among our nation in a time. Somehow, someday, it is trickling up and down, not around you. So, just guide my brethren. I am much like them, you know. I don't know. Just guide.
Thanks a lot, my brother. And that is something we want to get into next week, inshallah. This war in the Middle East. But we're just waiting for some confirmation on a few points. Caller, good morning. Yes, good morning, caller. You're on the air. Yes. Caller, you're on the air. All right, let me take another one. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Yes,
Brother
go
David.
ahead.
Blessed morning. Well, crime starts with mother and father, brother and sister, community, and then the nation before the government. You see, when parents make children, the person after mother and father is teachers. We go through the teaching process in Trinidad and Tobago. Then after that, if you reach university or you're on your own with whatever profession you pick up within the society, what the society is needed, you are needful. You are always needful because we are the consumers and as I show you, we are the quarry of the rich. We are the quarry for the rich.
Yeah.
Anytime they want someone of us, they just take us and use us, and then after a time, you should know what's going on. It have a retirement stage in the life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So we looking at the crime situation. It starts within the home, and if you tell me that we have problems within the home, so that you can relay that problem outside within the community.
Yeah.
To solve your problem, that is a problem, Brother David. So what we must do, we have to start building the community from the homestead towards the community and then the nation. This is how I see fixing crime, because no one could tell me they profit from the gun up to now. Any
well, yeah, a lot of people can say they have profited from it, just not us.
So hello, just now, let me finish and you would understand.
Yeah.
The gunman cannot see profit from it.
Yeah.
Because it's either two things. Either death or prison.
For us.
So there's no profit there.
For us.
Well, all gunman. And then the sellers know, they could say they make a profit because they're selling it. You understand? But they have no profit from it. They have no profit from it. Whatever they want to acquire with what the money from the selling of that gun is, still no profit. You understand? So what we have is a whole recycled system of crime being the main ingredient why society is running, especially the courts.
For real.
They have the courts like this, Brother David.
Mm-hmm.
They postpone an appointment for this and that and the other, and they postpone. And according to some, the wheels of justice is running slow. Listen to this one. They hold 2 persons in Moses' time, and in the evening they were dead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Well, it's kind of obvious what you're advocating, but there must be specific conditions for that. But I hear you. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Brother David Mohammed.
Good morning, sir.
Brother David Mohammed,
Yes, sir.
the behavior of the police on them is being encouraged by the politicians.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
I think you need to turn the volume down on your radio.
All right. Yeah, brother.
Yes.
Yes, I think the behavior of the police is being encouraged by the politicians. And I'll tell you why. Now, when I listen to most of the politicians, they have this kind of way, they like to spur on the police. They have a way they tell the police, go after them. Go after them, go and get them, flush them out. Now, when I listened, I heard the Prime Minister speaking like this. And I heard Ms. Kamala Prasad speaking like this.
In fact, there's a frequent phrase that she uses, we will lock them up.
Yes.
You know, as if you're speaking on behalf of the police themselves and not some different office.
Yes, so there's no wonder why the police is behaving the way that they're kidnapping people.
That's a very good point you're making, sir.
Yes, because you see, the politicians just talk also and say, anything happen, the government is 100% behind you. Now listen to them. Now the police is listening also. No wonder why we have so much police killing in this country. It's like almost every week the police killing 2 and 3 people, right? And then you're hearing people now, especially the supporters of the government, saying the police right to go and kill them. Now in other countries, police don't kill people like that. Even in America, you can't just kill a man just so and there's no investigation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? In Trinidad here, police killing people here and no investigation. And the citizens, they're so well fed up with crime. Every time the police kill somebody, they think the police is right. Right? And they support.
Caller? All right, well, I got the gist of your message, and that is quite profound. Caller, good morning. Is this the same person who doesn't seem to know when they're on? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Brother David Mohammed. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am hearing you, sir.
Okay, sir. I heard you saying something this morning, and good morning to the listeners of the morning program.
Hey, good to hear you again after quite a while.
Yeah, well, this morning they draw my attention when I hear what they talk about to those young farmers. And I want to tell all those young brothers.
Are you aware of that situation, my brother?
That's why you hear me this morning. That come like breaking news in my ears this morning. You see, that's why I just tell. No, well, listen to this.
Yeah.
Did that come across our gazette?
Yeah, so here what? We have a clip, because CNC3 News ran a clip of it, which we have on WhatsApp, which we've been circulating. It's just like a 3-minute news clip from CNC3's evening news. But this was from about 3 weeks ago. And the way it was reported on CNC3 News, and I could only speculate on this part, but it seemed like they reported it as these brothers started this chicken farm, it got really successful, and they were about to be moved. But what has not been reported is, again, the part of the story that I think would really instill some national pride in a lot of people, which is the fact that they refuse to take the intimidation. If you legally can take back this land from these people, then come with a lawyer's letter. Don't come with machine guns and military style vehicle and faces all masked up. Does that sound like a legal operation?
That's very illegal and unjust. But I want to say this morning.
No, but Heritage Petroleum, they say, and Heritage should issue a statement either distancing themselves from that kind of strong arm bullying, criminal gangster type bandit tactics, or issue a statement saying, yeah, this really is our land, they need to move. But you cannot operate like that on behalf of the state.
Oh, well, I want to say this to you, Mr. Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
Well, the state now will have to relocate these brothers and keep them in that business, because
no, I'm not even talking about relocation. They need to stay there because that land has not been used. It's been barren.
Okay, I understand.
They just want to bully poor black people who are becoming successful in business. And that's the pattern of the 1% in this society. Close down small and medium-sized business and take them over with big business.
Well, you see, the only solution to this problem here now, we as black people, we must identify the people who are working for the oppressors that govern in our place, because this is a problem stemmed from the top, because the top will know exactly what is taking place in the country. And in every move where the police make a move, or the protective arms of the country go to any direction, the state, especially the Minister of National Security, these people is going to know about these things. So we don't really want to pet and powder this kind of situation, because when you get a bunch of youths that is doing good in a country such as Trinidad and Tobago, will destroying itself right now because of misguided youths. Once you get guided youths, you have to keep them guided. You don't come and apply pressure to try to create an environment that you were sorry that you do so. So we the people, we must take a stand and stand up behind these brothers and them. And I hear this, and I'm going to keep this in the public space, because let me tell you something, eggs right now in the supermarket, eggs is
scarce
money. When I tell real money, I can't believe a dozen of egg is almost $40. I cannot believe that.
The other day I went to the supermarket, the whole, there's one particular supermarket in the east, the whole back wall where they normally have eggs piled up was empty. And when they come back, they're so expensive.
This is the problem. So why it is unfair, you know, it is so unfair that because you see the black brothers and them making an inroad into the industries in this country, you have to applaud these things and work along with them. And I don't want people to ever think for 1 minute that I just be pulling down my own, because my voice is beyond this frequency, but that doesn't call all the program. But when I hear constructive thing going on and real thing going on, I'm going to lend a voice inside of it. And let me tell the powers that be, please be lenient with the black people of Trinidad and Tobago. For too long, we keep saying to our own self that we're to the bottom of the economic ladder. That is not good. When you have young people now, this is the technology era. So when these young people keep hearing that, they will grow so angry. They are going to be so angry and misguided. People could tell them where they want, guide them where they want, send them where they want. So people of Trinidad and Tobago, let these people who in authority work for the betterment and the development of the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. When you over 60 and 70, you just living on borrowed time now. Let the youth and them strive and breathe a proper air. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Brother,
thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. Caller, good morning. Okay, all right. Caller, good morning. Can you hear us?
Yes, Brother David, I'm hearing you now.
Yes, go ahead, my sister.
But the feedback isn't on my side, huh? Because I switched off.
Right.
So, yeah, you know, I don't actually remember my voice. There wasn't that Saturday I wouldn't miss from Twin City.
Yes. We're back in the house.
Yes, I'm not ashamed to call my name. Merlin Thomas to rule.
Oh, yes.
But soon I have to change to rule because my husband is deceased.
Oh.
Yeah, I got married at 16, and we lived our life wonderfully with 2 beautiful children. One is 54, my girl is 54, and my son, would you believe, came 20 years after. He's 34, and he's an officer. He's an officer. Oh gosh, I hope he doesn't let me know. He doesn't like that. Anyway, I want to tell you how professional you are.
Oh, listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and it's great to be reconnected with you. But our ads are up, so we'll continue our conversation. Thank you so much.
Get value for your money. Courts have the best quality. Home is what you make it. Best prices and good credit. Courts have it all.
Courts, make home yours.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on The Street 919 FM radio. Here my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted